All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. Today we're going to be looking at the S24 Plus. And if you're looking at the Samsung lineup, this is one that you actually should consider getting if you're looking at the Ultra in particular. So with this design here, you get the best of both worlds. You get the design of the smaller variant, but then you also get the screen resolution and nearly the same battery as the Ultra. Now I do have the S24 Ultra, so be sure to check those videos out that I post on that one. But as always, I'm recording with the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra to give you some content for Samsung products. So what they've done with this device is over the S23 Plus, they made two major changes, I would say. They increased the battery size on here to 4,900, which is almost the same as the Ultra. It used to be 4,700. You might not think that's a lot, but it definitely is helping. And then you have the display. This is what they've changed. Now, obviously, they've changed the internals with the processor and everything like that. But this display now is a Quad HD display. And that is a huge, huge win for the people who don't want the very big screen on the Ultra, the size, the footprint of the Ultra. That is a huge change. You now have a Quad HD display, and it's not just a Quad HD display, it is a Quad HD display dynamic LTPO display now. So also, they moved it from 6.6 to 6.7, which is a small change, but it is still something that's worth noting. Now, one last change I'll talk about before I get into some reasons why I think you probably should consider this device is the RAM. The 24 Plus lineup has 12 gigs of RAM across both storage options. So it used to be 8 gigs with 256 and 8 gigs with 512, but now it's 12 gigs with both memory options. That is something you should take note of. Those changes right there alone make this a huge win for people who don't want to buy the Ultra. 12 gigs of RAM on both options gives you a much speedier device, a higher resolution display, and battery life on this thing is absolutely great. Those three things right there are definitely reasons why you probably should consider this device if you were thinking about getting the Ultra. Just those three alone. I have the display, I have the battery. Now, while it's 4,900 and not 5,000, trust me, folks, that is enough to power this thing for a day and a half to 2 days. If you, depending on how you're using it, minimum. You should get about a day and a half minimum out of this thing because it is absolutely great. The battery life on here being a 4,900 milliamp hour battery packed into this thing is phenomenal. Now the display, I'll play something here. This display is beautiful. Now, I want to go ahead and check the resolution here. It's set at the 4K HDR. Now let's check the brightness here. Again, we're talking about comparison. Look at how low the brightness is. Let's give it to half. Let's go back in. That is over video. You might not be able to tell too much, but I can tell you folks, this thing is beautiful in person. And it feels better to hold this one than it does the Ultra for a long period of time. That is where this device, and I'll get into the hardware because that's another area why I think you should consider this over the Ultra. I mean, this is just a beautiful feeling phone in the hand. It's just, if you've held a Pixel, if you held a Pixel 8 Pro, you've held this device pretty much. The Pixel 8 Pro has a little bit more weight to it. Yes, I'm flexing with Bay and Minty. But in the end, you're getting that comfortable. And if you've held a Pro Max version of an iPhone, you've pretty much held this device. But there's some, or I'll say a 14 Plus or a 15 Plus. That is exactly how these devices feel. A little bit lightweight in the hand, but rounded corners make it feel great. But nonetheless, the screen is just as beautiful as the Ultra, and it's in a much nicer, compact feel in the hand package. Yeah, this is another reason why you probably should consider this device over the Ultra and over a lot of other phones out there. This display is absolutely beautiful. I mean, in person, it just pops, man. It's hard to put it into words how beautiful this display is, but it definitely pops. And the fact that it's 120 hertz, that's something that you should take note of. You're going to love this display. Now, as you can see here, It probably was toned down because I keep my screens on auto, my displays on auto. People often ask, how do you have your display set? I run it on auto, so I have to manually change it up to something that I want like that. But it's running on auto, so it's gonna really pop when it gets to a really bright setting. Now you won't experience that 2600 nits brightness. You're gonna have to be in like direct sunlight beaming down on you at the right angle. I don't think I've yet to experience the 2600 peak brightness, but it definitely gets really bright outside. And you can see how it is here in this well lit area here. I have 2 LED lights shining down on my desk. And it just does well. It looks beautiful in this setting. So you've got a beautiful display. That's one of the best reasons you could possibly consider this device. You've got a big battery inside this little small thin body, if I might add. And then you have the RAM to support the processing power that you need to get on your social media. This is something that you want to consider when purchasing a device from Samsung. Get one with a lot of RAM if you can. Oh man, that's clean. Oh, God, dog. My older brother had a blue one like that, man. I drove it back in side note real quick. I drove it back in 1990. I think it was 91. I came home and he had that bad boy. I was taking vacation. I was in the military. I was taking vacation. I came home. He let me grip that bad boy. Man, he had that straight pipe exhaust. Oh, it was so cool. Anyway, social media is where we are. So why not look at social media on one of the best displays that you could possibly look at it on? And the performance coupled with that 12 gigs of RAM with the 8th gen processor, you can't go wrong. This is a great package here. Software wise, you don't have the S Pen, but you still have the Samsung One UI 6.1, and it has all the same things as it does the Ultra. This is just how it is. This is what they offer. This is a part of Samsung's suite, no matter which Samsung phone you get. So if you have the smaller variant, I'm sure you'll probably have that sidebar right there to get things done for yourself. So another area that I think is easy to consider is the hardware. This hardware right here, you've heard me speak about, how it feels with a Pixel. It feels good. It's rounded. It's beautiful in the hand. But they've changed it. They've taken away those shiny sides on the previous generation and given it this nice brushed look. Very nice. I think you really can't go wrong with the way this thing is put together. It is really nice. Now it has the aluminum frame still, but they're calling it that same thing from last year, that Armor Aluminum 2 frame. This is just 2. Like version 2 of the Armor aluminum frame. But the difference is it is not stainless steel, and it's still saying scratch resistant. And I've definitely taken this thing out of cases multiple times. I think I've dropped it, but I think it was in a case. But I'm sure, because I don't really wear cases too much, but when I do, I wear a specific case. So right now I'm rocking the official Samsung leather case, but I do have more cases to come. So look for those videos as well. Nonetheless, the hardware on here is a great improvement over the previous generation. It's got this brush look, like I said before. So that is just one more reason why I think you probably should consider this device over some other devices on the market. This hardware is really good. So if you look at this device right here and you consider what Samsung is doing here for the price is always going to be questionable. So I'm not going to tell you that you should consider this device because of the price, because the prices on devices are high. They are high. This device is no exception. I believe without any kind of discounts or anything like that, this 512 is about $1,200 or something like that. I definitely can double check, but I got to tell you, you should be able to get a discount. There's no reason why you can't get a discount on one of these devices right here. People are getting them through their carriers. They're getting them everywhere. So I bought this directly from Best Buy because it was a discount off at the time for the 512. They were giving I think $150 off or something like that. And I went on ahead and bought it from Best Buy. So you should be able to get, I got this for I think $850. So you should be able to get this device for a very low price. My wife traded in her S23 Plus, and Samsung gave her $750 for that old device. And I know it's just a previous generation, but still, they gave her $750 for that device, and she got the 512 version of this. She got the same color and everything, but she got the 512 version of this, and it's a win. Because with our devices, our previous generation devices, we didn't pay, I think I paid like $180 for those devices. I forgot how I got that big discount. But nonetheless, this device is a win. I'm not going to say the price is a win per se, but coupled with the battery life, the beautiful display, the extraordinary hardware, the performance, and the last thing is the cameras. I'm going to load up some photos here and we'll take a look together. So I was hanging out and I took some footage, and I've already done the video review for this device, but here's some of the things. Obviously you've seen this. If you've seen the video review, the camera review of this phone, you see this footage before. But this is just stunning footage. It is superb. This is a very low light situation going on here. There's a little bit of shadowing happening over here, and they have that light shining down. This is a beautiful shot. This is a beautiful shot from a cell phone. Like, how much more do you want from a cell phone? Beautiful. Just beautiful. Samsung's cameras with this 50 megapixel shot on the back here, this is just a phenomenal thing. These cameras, let me go into the app here because I love to talk about the app. The camera app itself is far ahead of a lot of other camera apps. Just the app itself. Look at what's in here. So if you open up the Ultra's camera app, you're going to see the same thing. Portrait video, dual record, single take, slow motion, hyperlapse, panorama, food, night, expert, raw, pro, and pro video. You're going to see all these things in all the Samsung Suite apps that you have for the camera. This is by far one of the best camera apps that I've used on any software on a phone. It's got a lot into it. Now, obviously, it's not on the level of this phone. The camera suite on this device is of a mirrorless camera. This is a totally advanced. This camera suite on here, the software for this phone, this is the Pro I. This camera suite on here is ridiculous. If you know how to use a mirrorless camera, a Sony mirrorless camera at that, you know how to use this camera suite. So it's not on that level. It's not on that level, but it is. The Pro mode is very close when considering. And on top of that, you have, and let me go into the Pro Video, because I use Pro Video a lot. There's so much you can do in Pro Video. You can actually go all the way up to 8K in Pro Video and really dig in here. You can do the mic, the zoom, you can do the speed of the shutter, the ISO. You can do anything in here. Anything. So, and obviously, you know, I frequent portrait video. This is my favorite here. I always leave it on UHD, but you can change to full HD. And they incorporated that after the S22 lineup. So regular photos here, you can switch over to a 50 megapixel shot. Now that's with the 50 megapixel shot, you just can't do any kind of zooming or anything like that, but you're going to get some killer shots. Video, you can do 8K, obviously, 8K, 30 frames per second. That is ridiculously good quality. But unfortunately, like I said in the other videos, a lot of people can't even watch 8K content in its entirety because a lot of us don't have 8K monitors or TVs to view the content. So, but the fact that it's there, and some people who do have 8K screens, they're getting the best of it, man. They're getting the best of it. But the camera app is super simple and to the point. I've always said that, you know, HDR content on Samsung products, I just don't like it as well as the iPhone's HDR content, but it is still nice. It's nice. It's just not as good as the HDR content on Apple's. I just feel some type of way about that. But you can see here with 8K on, I was showing you that you can't make too many changes. There's no advanced options up here, but the fact that you can actually do it is simply just great. There's no other way to say it. It's a phenomenal thing to be able to do 8K recording. And I will give you an 8K video one day soon. So the last thing here is the portrait shots. And the portrait shots here, man, this is where Samsung wins. They've got all these, and obviously color point is one of the best ones. Color point is this right here. Yeah, you've seen color point. I think that's but the regular blur is what a lot of people probably use. But the camera suite is one of the best in the game, folks. It is beautiful. So the S24 Plus is a wow factor device because it's beautiful in hardware. It's got a beautiful set of cameras. It's just got it going on in so many ways. It pretty much is a baby version of the Ultra. It looks and shape different. It's better in the hand, but you still get some of the main functionality, which is you won't be able to take 200 megapixel photos. You don't have the S Pen suite, but you save money and you still have a 512 option, and you have the 12 gigs of RAM. And to me, you have what I consider better looking hardware and way more reasonable in the way it feels in the hand. It just feels and looks great, man. So that's just my concerns and thoughts on why you probably could consider this over the Galaxy S24 Ultra lineup. That is a big conversation for a lot of people. Some people are just ultra to the core, and some people are saying, I've been loving, quote, I've been loving my S24 Plus, and you keep on loving it, because I guarantee you I'm right there with you. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.